So in this video, I'm going to be talking about the image of the teacher. I feel that most people have one basic image of what a teacher looks like that consists of very stereotypical qualities that every teacher should hold, and that people don't necessarily understand or are able to see how many roles teachers do play in their classroom on a day-to-day basis. At first glance, many people think teaching is a somewhat easy degree to obtain and it's easy to do. They think that the math classes that people studying to be a teacher are going to take is all about addition and subtraction, and that your homework is going to be to complete a coloring book. However, a lot of our classes are so much more than that. We have to learn how to create lesson plans, which in itself can take hours to do. Many people also say that anybody can be a teacher, which I really find is not at all true. They don't realize all of the qualities that teachers need to hold, how much they need to adore kids and be able to want to work with kids for the rest of their lives. I then thought it would be fun to ask my friends what their personal definition of what it means to be a teacher was, and I was really satisfied with the results. My two favorites were that one friend said, I think of a knowledgeable person who is not only a person who can connect and teach their students, but also be a role model. And another friend said, the first thing that I think of is creativity. They're also outgoing, understanding, caring, and compassionate with their students. A teacher is someone who educates and motivates students to do their best and helps them achieve their goals to the best of their ability. I do think that my friends gave me really great definitions of what it means to be a teacher. However, I thought we could take it a step farther and then look at what the many scholars we have read and I have personally researched have said in their personal definition of what it means to be a teacher. And my favorite that I found was that McDonald had said, teachers are the most valuable aspect of a program. They are caring, joyful individuals that care for students day after day. However, so far, these have been basically characteristics of what teachers do and how they treat their students. Scholars, my friends, and just regular everyday people you find on the streets usually do not recognize the huge administrative role that teachers do in fact hold. I'm now just going to play a small snippet from John Calhoun's TED Talk titled The Role of a Teacher. I really enjoyed this entire video, and I recommend that everybody searches it on YouTube and watches the entire thing.
A teacher also has to, of course, be an educator for students. That means I have to plan and plan and plan and plan. If I am teaching a 45-minute class, it takes about an hour and a half to get that lesson ready for them. I have to make sure I am the smartest person in the room, or at least I have to fake it really, really well. Spark Notes is a very good friend of mine. On top of that, I also have the philosophy that when kids do things, I have to grade them and get them back to them really, really quickly. That means if I have a 45-minute class, I am spending over 3 hours on that single classroom, preparing the lesson, getting the material straight, and making sure I'm assessing things as quickly as possible.
Aside from this small snippet that I just played of the video, John does go in depth about the qualities that teachers hold, how they sometimes are a brotherly role or a motherly role, how they are caring and compassionate. But what I loved about the TED Talk so much is that John Calhoun actually talks about the administrative roles that teachers play, which I feel like many scholars don't necessarily focus on. The administrative role that teachers play consists of creating relationships with parents. This can be done by setting up parent-teacher meetings as well as inviting parents into the classroom at certain times of the day. Teachers are also responsible for creating their own lesson plans on their own time. This, I feel like, is a huge one. Personally, I know in New York State that the standards are very, very rigorous, and it's very hard to make your lesson plans abide by those rules while making the lesson very creative and getting the kids moving and not just sitting at their desk for the entire lesson. Teachers also take on the role of being a mentor a lot of times, whether that's training somebody new in their practice or if it's taking in somebody who is doing field work and teaching them how exactly to control a classroom, how to teach a classroom, how to create lesson plans, and so on. So now from reading all of these different scholars' perspectives of what their personal image of a teacher is. I feel that I've really formed my own that is very broad, but some of the things that really stick out to me in my personal opinion is that to be an effective teacher, you need to be an effective leader. We learned that in the first week of class, and that's going to really stick with me from now on. Teachers are also compassionate, empowering, knowledgeable. The list goes on and on of certain qualities that they hold. But most importantly, I feel that teachers go the extra mile to make sure that every family is provided with the information they need in the language they need. In one of my placements, the teacher would create a calendar every week that had all of the homework on it, all of the classwork on it, and she would send it home with each family at the start of each week. And I noticed that this teacher was printing out this calendar in multiple languages so that families that spoke Spanish at home, for example, were able to still read this calendar and help their children with the homework and see exactly what they were doing in class each day. Just as a closing remark, I wanted to refer to a quote that John Calhoun said in his TED Talk. Obviously, I really like this TED Talk, so everybody should go watch it. But he said, "I live this life constantly. I live and I love it." I feel that this quote really encompasses the true mindset of a teacher, how much they do love their job, how much work they put into it, and that just day after day, they love what they do and they wouldn't trade it for the world.